Why do you think people are so freaked out or intimidated or reserved about selling?
They've been sold to in the past and they didn't like how it felt.
Hmm.
And I think those negative experiences really stick with you. However, I'm looking at your beautiful home and all of those things that you bought at some point, and I'm sure you didn't feel sold to when you bought these things, when you bought that beautiful TV, when you bought your iPhone. You wanted to be sold to. Why? Because it helped you. You were looking for something specific. And here comes an angel from heaven offering it to you, showing you possibilities. You know, somebody else coined this term, but I really like it. I forgot his name on Instagram. He's got this Southern accent. He's always on the boat. And he said, mayhalf. Like, what's that? Make a friend, help a friend. Selling is basically just making a friend and helping a friend. And then at the end, the byproduct of making a friend and helping a friend is a sale. And that's it.
I mean, if you just break it down that simplistically, nobody should be afraid to sell if that is the feeling.
That should be the feeling. If that's not the feeling, you're giving people the ick. Make a friend, help a friend. You look great.
Thank you. You look great.
Thanks. You're wearing the color I typically wear.
I got inspiration from the photo that you sent, and I was like, oh, we can do like Legally Blonde and whatever vibes for the IG live that didn't happen. But you know, I think this is actually kind of a good starting point because it is a good lesson in general that like being nimble and not having everything be perfect all the time is also part of what things are. And if you wait until things are perfect, they don't happen.
No.
You feel like that?
100%. 100%. It's like one of my lines is always, my husband always asks, hey, are you ready? Are you ready? Or like people are like, hey, are you ready? Ready to go? And I always say, no, but we go anyway.
Exactly.
No, of course I'm not ready, but we go anyway.
I was at this beauty summit yesterday for WWD, and part of the concept was about resilience and how the beauty industry, even some of these giant corporations that are struggling or having success or whatever, this underlying theme was about resilience. And it made me think about the Lash community because you have to be resilient in this space and you have to find ways to constantly, I feel like, reinvent yourself or keep your clients active or have these conversations where you become part of somebody's budget instead of like
absolutely
a nice to have, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's interesting to see these super famous, you know, estheticians and plastic surgeons talking about how they struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, Molly Sims and her new beauty line was one of the guest speakers. And she was just saying like, yeah, people talk about like, how do you have this work-life balance? And she's like, I don't have a work-life balance. Like I mom hard and I work hard.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say about that. Like there is, if you want to be successful, you don't always get to strike a work-life balance.
No, there is no balance. There's no balance. When I'm working on my business, I feel like I should be teaching the kids more. And when I'm teaching the kids, because I am a homeschool mom, I feel like I should be working on my business. But I really think it's just all about finding the joy in everything. It's just finding the joy in the grind. I always say that. Well, my husband always says that because he's an educator. When the world says, do what you love and the money will follow, that's not entirely true. Because I love sitting by the pool and drinking margaritas all day.
Thanks.
So find what you love working hard on. And I love, like when my friends or the barista at Starbucks, because I can't give an honest answer, a dishonest answer, will ask me, how are you? And I have to be honest and I'll really think about it. And I'm like, well, I love all of my hamster wheels. I love it. I love all the spinning plates. my mother-in-law who lives with me, who has a different personality type, she was like, Sheila, sometimes I watch you and I'm stressed out. And I was like, well, I'm not. I love these spinning plates. I love the hamster wheels. When you walk into my home, the first thing you see on your left-hand side is a statue of Sisyphus. And he's the Greek god that just pushes the rock up the hill. And I just love the act of pushing that rock up. I don't want to get to the top. And, my husband was asking me yesterday, like, okay, well, if you were a stay-at-home mom, what would you do? And I was like, I would want to climb that hill and be the best at that and, optimize, household. And I do that household strategy or cleaning or like, I just love attempting to do things with excellence. And I think it's such a privilege because, when you're sick, what did they say? The sick man wants one thing. The healthy man wants a million things. And so being able to work hard and go to the gym and do all these things and have deadlines, it's such a privilege. It's a privilege.
It's funny. My husband says a similar thing to me, but he's like, I think you thrive in chaos.
My husband says to me, and I'm insulted, but I think he's kind of right.
But mine is also right because I've spent my entire professional life. I'm in my 26th year now. And I've always worked with indie beauty, clean beauty, scrappy startups, some that became more and more popular, but always this like passion for somebody that I know has a good story and a good product, but maybe doesn't have the means or the understanding of how to become a household brand. That is what I love. Like when I was working as a beauty editor, I wanted to talk about the cool up and coming brands and like somebody who found this thing in their kitchen and they were like, no, we have to support our sponsors. And, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about brands that I don't love or that I don't believe in. I feel like one of the things that is really beneficial about social media is the fact that it has kind of evened the playing field a little bit, where if you show up and you put in the energy and effort like you're talking about, you can be just as successful, if not more successful, than a brand that has all the means in the world.
I think that the problems even with these big brands is kind of the same. It's just, you were talking about Molly Sims. They have the same issues, just on a larger scale.
Yes.
It's the same.
Yeah. No, they all do. I mean, she was just saying how, I think founder-led brands, which are more and more popular right now. And by the way, most of you guys are founder-led brands.
Yes.
Right? Like, yes, it's becoming popular now, but you have always been a founder-led brand when you're doing service.
Absolutely.
And her thing was like, I always was stressed out because I wanted it to be this way, or I wanted it to be that way, and I wanted it to be perfect, and I wanted my makeup to be done. And she's like, but it was always the times where I was like a disaster in my car, sharing about how I'm like at pickup, but I have this deadline and whatever, that people really resonated with.
Yeah.
And I think that's true in general. So you and I have a panel coming up at LashCon.
Yes, we do.
And
This Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday at LashCon at 12:45, which I'm very excited about. But interestingly enough, like we kind of had our ideas of where the panel was going to go before I talked to you. And the whole concept of like selling without the ick, right? And, how to master sales without feeling pushy. And I really originally thought about this as a sales class, like an anti-sales class. So we talked, and then there was this shift of like, oh, wow, this isn't the topic at all. The topic is actually believing in yourself and finding your purpose and finding your why. And kind of like how you started this, what you work hard at, the money will follow, right? And I'm fascinated and curious how, you can take somebody that has like an amazing skill set, is really good at what they do, they've been around forever and they're struggling. And then you can train somebody that maybe is newer or doesn't have the same experience and they're like crushing it in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not based on technical skills.
It's not, unfortunately.
What is it?
A little bit. I think 10%. I would say 10%.
What's the other 90%?
So every business has 3 machines. It doesn't matter how big or how small. You have your visibility machine. That's number 1. That's like your washer. Your dryer is your booking machine. And the third machine is services, which is putting the clothes away. So you have your washer, your dryer, put the clothes away. Visibility. The visibility machine, its job is to make people aware of you, make potential customers aware of you. They know you exist. That's it. That's the entire job of the visibility machine, just awareness. In order for a client to choose you, you first need to be one of the options. If a client is looking for a service and they're perusing through Instagram, Google, asking their friends, your name needs to come up as one of the options. Now, the second machine is the booking machine, and that's conversion. Now that you're one of the options, are you getting chosen? And underneath the umbrella of the booking machine is your consultations, your branding. Once they're aware of you and then they come to your page or your website or your funnel or your email sequence, does it stand the test of time? Are you going to be chosen amongst the other choices out there because you are not the only choice? So the job of the visibility machine is lead generation. It's just visibility. The job of the booking machine is conversion. It's taking deposits. It's getting people to decide. And the third machine, services, are they happy with your work? Do they keep coming back? And the thing is, most lashpreneurs, they've built the last machine. They know how to put clothes away, but they haven't washed it or dried it.
It's like my kids.
Well,
never mind. True. They don't put it away either. They don't do any of the 3. So I scratch that. Keep going.
That's it. So I think I forgot what the original question was.
Well, the question is like, why are some people super successful and others aren't as successful, even if they may be the best lash tech on earth?
Because they've built their visibility and booking machines, whatever it is. Even though maybe they can't explain to you why they're so booked out, guaranteed, if I dissect their business, if you dissect their business and see what's under the hood, not just what's the pretty Instagram page or the pretty pictures or the booked out calendar, there is a visibility machine that exists and a booking machine. The thing is, what lash artists are doing is they're copying each other based on what they can see, which is like branding, a trending sound, or, similar fonts or similar, colors, just the things they can see. Oh, that girl has a podcast. Maybe I should have a podcast. Well, that girl posted this picture. Maybe I should post a picture like that. Well, that girl used a trending sound like this. Maybe I should do that too. But it's all about what's under the hood, which lash artists are either ill-equipped to be able to dissect and share and so that, they can inform people, or they're just stingy with it, perhaps. It's one thing to have these machines existing, but it's another thing to be able to impart that knowledge. It's another skill set.
So let's say though, because we hear this a lot of like, it's just me. I'm just by myself. I don't know
all the time. Yeah.
Increase visibility. I don't have to work on SEO or I don't have the support of somebody like you. Then what?
Well, you can get support from us. We have thousands of clients. Number one, I have a lot of free resources on YouTube, on Instagram. And I try to make my content so valuable that people save it and come back to it so it could actually make them money. And why? Because I want them to eventually be able to sign up with us. I want to win your trust. I want to earn your trust. And so for a lash artist that, doesn't have that kind of support or that know-how, I think you need to look at marketing as a skill with the same importance, if not more importance than just the skill of lashing. In order to perfect the skill of lashing, you had to do a couple of things. You had to pay a trainer. You had to go practice. You had to fail. You had to maybe get some bad reviews. But you had to try over and over again. You had to do a lot of things. You had to put your 10,000 hours in. But when it comes to marketing, A lot of lash artists are stingy. They don't see it as important. But marketing and sales is the oxygen to any business. If visibility and booking, if nobody's there, if those machines aren't working, then number 3 sits empty. Their services sit empty. So I would consider how much money, time, resources, and energy you spent on your services machine. Add that up. You probably have the flower wall, the neon sign, the Cosmo Glow. Oh, you're ready. You're ready. And your confidence is a 10 when it comes to lashing people. But if I were to give you the challenge of get me 10 new paying clients by Monday, you'd probably freeze. Why? Because you haven't invested in the same amount of resources and energy into those other 2 machines.
Would you say if you had to, of the thousands of people that have come through you guys' programs, would you say that that's the number one mistake
100%
that people make is not spending enough time on understanding marketing?
I don't know why people don't think it's that important until they don't have money for rent. And then they scramble and now they're desperate and they don't have the funds to spend on that. People will spend so much money on their decor before they do their branding, marketing, or ads.
Do you think it's because they don't know where to start? That I feel like somebody that's doing, like you, for example, providing that service, even some of your courses that you can download for free or a nominal amount of money, like
absolutely
not know that exists, or they're lazy about it, or they're intimidated by it. Like,
yeah, I'm probably a combination of everything. I've met a lot of thousands of people in my life in this industry, and it's all about being resourceful. And I do think there's something about somebody that wants it badly enough. I think somebody that wants it badly enough will stumble across it. And when they stumble across it, they'll stick around. They'll stick around. We live in the age of the internet. You can just Google lash marketing.
I mean, my boyfriend / ChatGPT, it's like I can say anything and I have a full blown business plan of something that 100%. I didn't understand 5 minutes ago.
I don't think there's any excuse anymore. The excuses are getting...
I agree.
At this point, I mean, this is information era.
So sometimes, like, if somebody goes through your program or one of your programs, do you ever feel like there's like something, a shift that you can see happen over and over again, like visibly or energetically? Like, how does that work?
You know what it is? It's the denominator, the common denominator with somebody that goes through all of my programs, any of them, because I have a few different ones. I think it's hope.
Oh, I love that.
I think it's hope because you're surrounded by other beauty entrepreneurs who are playing the same game you're playing and they're winning. And at the very least, that's energetically shifting. Someone will come to a mastermind, one girl actually, that she said she raised her prices after that. A few people have told me that in the last week. And I just forget. Why? Because I've got mom brain. But a few people have told me this past week, now that I think about it, there was Magda and there was Carolyn. I said, raise your prices. And they did. And surprisingly, people didn't bat an eye. They paid it. And then I said, how far out are you booked? And this girl said 2 months. And I said, well, you don't need to be booked out for 2 months. You just need to be booked out technically a day in advance. Why don't you raise your prices some more? And there's something about that comfort. Yeah. It's comfortable. It feels good to be booked out for 2 months, but then you're burnt out. You don't have time for your kids. You don't have time for yourself. You don't have time, for spiritual disciplines or whatever. Do you really need to be booked out for 2 months? You only need to be booked out, honestly, literally a day.
That is so true about... There is such an association with success and bragging rights of being booked out far in advance. But there is such a truth to the amount of limiting that is for you as a person, because you can't be spontaneous.
You can't get sick.
In your life. You can't get sick. You can't go on a last minute trip. No. You miss out on things with your friends. And I'm not suggesting that I don't know the answer, but it's the same, I think, with hair. too. It's like bragging rights. Like, oh, you can't get into me for 6 months. And you're like, okay, but what if you have like a birthday party you want to go to or something? So there is balance for sure.
Not everybody values freedom of time.
No. That's true. I guess it does matter what's important to you personally.
I mean, I feel like I mean, most people do, but because not everyone values freedom of time. Yeah. There's some people who just really value seeing that number in their bank account or seeing that, you know, a colorful calendar for several months. They just like it. It's like nice and cozy.
That's another thing I remember from our conversation when we were talking about the panel is this shift of money from what you're going to earn to what you're going to do with that money and whose life you can change or who you can impact or what difference you can make instead of just like what handbag you're going to buy. Or I'd love to hear a little bit more about that because that really meant I really was like touched by that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes as service providers, a lot of what we do is because we actually really do fundamentally want to help people. And that's why you got into the business to begin with. I don't think most beauty professionals are just in it for money.
Absolutely.
Part to it. So when you said that, I'm like, that is so, there's such a shift there of like, I want to make money because I want more. But like, I want to make money because I want to fill in the blank.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Well, the crazy thing about success is that the more successful you become or that I've become, the more I've realized that it's not about me. I don't need $5 million a year. I can't even spend that. I don't. Your success is actually, you'll find once you get there, it's about other people, all the people you can help. Ask yourself before maybe you're scared to go live, you're scared to invest in your business. Who would benefit from your success?
Yeah.
And typically there's names attached to them. They're people. What are their names? Like think about it right now. Who would benefit from your success? Whose life would change because you've been successful? Who can you be generous to? And what about causes that you feel so strongly about? Right? So that's the thing. I'm a Christian, so money, it says in the Bible that the love of money is evil, but money itself is not evil. We are called to be generous and not broke.
Yes, and abundant.
And abundant and generous. But how can you be generous if you're broke?
Pay your rent. Yes, true.
How can you be? So the thing is, money is power. In Ecclesiastes 9:10, it says money is the answer to everything. Okay. Money is the answer to everything? Really? Yeah, it just opens doors. It opens doors. And in this world, there is good and evil, and somebody is going to have the power. And I don't know who that's going to be, but if you feel like you're a good person and you would make a great rich person, I'd be so benevolent. I'd give to this cause. I could help out this homeless person, or I would just house all these people, which I do. Actually, I have a lot of people in my house. Then it's your obligation to be successful. That's what you should do, because the money is going to go somewhere. The power is going to go to somebody. And if you are a good person, then you need to go get it before they do. Whoever they is.
Absolutely. Wow. I saw this thing on Instagram today, and it was somebody just saying like, I don't measure success by like, if I have a Rolex or if I have this, it's by like, can I walk in a room and know that like 100 families eat because of something I did?
Yes.
I was like, yes. Like,
yes.
It's just so.
I love that.
I'll send it to you. It was really cool because it was like simple and it was honest, and you can tell who means it and who doesn't mean it.
Yeah.
And you can also tell by their actions. But you're right. Like, somebody's going to get the money. So how about it go to somebody that's working hard, that's doing good, that's giving back and that's making a difference. And if that's you, like, go get it.
One of the best compliments I've ever received. And I'm an Enneagram 8. And if you know anything about the Enneagram, 8s don't like compliments. We don't take it well. We're just like, yeah, sure.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
And the Enneagram is a personality test. It tells you your greatest motivators.
Okay.
It's not the Myers-Briggs ENFJ. It's not that. It's 8 type personalities are challengers. And so when people give us compliments, we just kind of like, a little bit. We just go, what's the motivation behind that? You know, it's like, it's not a healthy thing. I'm telling you what my toxic trait is. Like, I should just take the compliment, accept it, and say thank you. But, you know, I just overthink it a little much. So, but one of the best compliments I've ever received, there's 2 actually. The first one is, you're so relaxed. I really like that.
That is a compliment.
That's a great compliment.
I
was like, wow, thanks. Yeah, I feel like I am. And the second one came from somebody I hired who had 8 kids. 2 of them were special needs. And she said, we all have this because you didn't give up. And I just broke down in tears, because to get this, to be able to help somebody else, you know, to be able to be, it's because of all those quiet times, those private times that nobody saw what you were going through, and you kept going anyway. So yeah, I just want you guys to think about that. Somebody's going to thank you one day, like she did, for not giving up.
There's something also to be said for not giving up on yourself, right? Like, you didn't give up, but, you know, I think showing up, even if it doesn't look perfect, even if it's messy, even if it's that you push yourself a little bit to do a live or make a video and you don't know what you're doing, like, just showing up is better and more important than doing nothing at all. Like,
showing up is really half the battle.
Up is such
it really is
part of it.
Just Googling lash marketing is half the battle. Like, just start the search, show up for yourself, show up for your business. It really is half the battle.
And it's interesting because I do media training for people that are going on TV and selling products and whatever. And the first half of it is complete psychology, because people are so attached to their script of like, what do I need to make sure I say? What points do I need to get across? That they forget their why, right? Like, why did you start doing this? Why did you create a product? Why did you make whatever it is that you made? Like, what is your true origin story? And people want to actually hear that. And that's perfect. Like, that isn't a boilerplate statement. That isn't an FAQ, like, I memorized all my whatever. That's just showing up and being real and talking about what you love and why you did it. Like, what is your why? And I think for you and what you inspire in people is figuring out what your why is. If you sell a service versus a product, right? People make product for a reason, to solve a specific issue, problem, situation. But service has a why too. And I think identifying that is something that is really life-changing professionally.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll get you out of bed for sure. Because I feel like if you are doing this for money, for yourself, it's not motivating enough. I don't think so, because this business is hard. It's really hard, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur and you're starting out, so you have to find a reason bigger than yourself to be able to really do great things in this industry. Find what that is, or who that is.
That is, yeah. Why do you think people are so freaked out or intimidated or reserved about selling?
They've been sold to in the past and they didn't like how it felt. And I think those negative experiences really stick with you. However, I'm looking at your beautiful home and all of those things that you bought at some point, and I'm sure you didn't feel sold to when you bought these things, when you bought that beautiful TV, when you bought your iPhone. You wanted to be sold to. Why? Because it helped you. You were looking for something specific. And here comes an angel from heaven offering it to you, showing you possibilities. You know, somebody else coined this term, but I really like it. I forgot his name on Instagram. He's got this Southern accent and he's always on the boat. And he said, mayhalf. Like, what's that? Make a friend, help a friend. Selling is basically just making a friend and helping a friend. And then at the end, the byproduct of making a friend and helping a friend is a sale. And that's it.
I mean, if you just break it down that simplistically, nobody should be afraid to sell if that is the feeling.
That should be the feeling. If that's not the feeling, you're giving people the ick. Make a friend, help a friend.
So how do people go from, because it's not that simple for everybody.
No, right? It's not.
If you're in the ick zone,
it's something we've all done. If you are in the lash business, you're probably your friends. I mean, this business is so cutesy and bubbly and fun. You have friends. If you have a friend, you've made a friend before in your past. You're an expert, actually, if you have a lot of friends. Think about it. So let's break this down at a Starbucks, hypothetically. Okay. We're at a Starbucks. Let's say I see you, Keri, and I don't know who you are. And you're sitting down and you're reading a book, right? And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And I would probably say, I love your top. Excuse me. I love your top. Where did you get that? And you would tell me, where did you get that, by the way?
Zara. So
love it. Okay. So don't give like a compliment that's disingenuous, but typically that's what you would say. You don't come up to people at Starbucks and say, here's my card. I'm here if you want to get lashes. You know, I just live down the street. Make a friend first, right? And then I'd probably say something like, oh my gosh, do your kids go to blah, 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 blah school? I think I saw you at the drop-off line the other day. Or somebody, you know, do your kids go to school there? You'd be like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. My name is Sheila. I'm a lash artist. I live in the area. Where do you live? Well, and then you strike up a conversation and you just happen to be a lash artist. Happen to be. Oh, what mascara are you using? I really like that. What brand is it? What's your favorite mascara? I like the Lancome one. They just came out with it and blah, blah, blah. Well, give me the name. It's, you know, I'm just obsessed with lashes because, you know, it's what I do. Oh my gosh, I would love to do your lashes. Have you ever considered like getting extensions before? That would look so good on you. Yes, no, maybe. Why? Why not? Oh my gosh, I can do it really naturally. Just try here. Okay, give me your number. I'm going to hook you up and then you follow up. It's now but you just made a friend.
Yeah.
Now, how does that play out digitally? On Instagram, it's a party. Social media is a party and you can't be tone deaf because at a real party, if you just come out and say, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, you're weird. You're the weird one. So in social media, you make friends. You can make friends on social media. You can be your soulmate on social media. I met a lot of people who met on social media and gotten married, right? So it's the same thing. Maybe you find local people who maybe the local Pilates gym, you know, the Pilates girls or like the juice bar next door. They're checking in, they're geotagging. Oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Comment. I love your outfit. How are you? And then strike up a conversation. Or maybe you go into their stories and they posted their lunch and they're like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. I've always wanted to try that restaurant. Why do people post stories? Why? Because they want people to see it and they want people to reply and they're trying to get like some sort of engagement. They're trying to get some sort of attention. So you dive into that and make a friend, a genuine friend. You can't fake it. Right. And then, yeah, my name is Sheila. I'm a lash artist. I do lashes at this building. What do you do? And then you can start talking about what you do. Oh my gosh, this picture, the selfie you posted the other day, you have to tell me what mascara you're using. It's so good.
Okay, go back to Starbucks. And what's the ick version of what you just did that you see people doing that you're like, oh, don't do that?
Listen, I really do respect the hustle, but passing out flyers.
Okay.
You earn your right to sell. You earn the right. Right? It's like the Bible's like truth and grace, but you earn the right to tell them the truth by showing grace first. Make a friend, help a friend. So I've seen people pass out flyers. I've seen them hire companies that have these salespeople on foot that will. Have you seen that? I've been approached by them so many times. Actually, Danielle used to do that.
No,
Danielle's
I
on
was
the team.
like super freaked out by that.
No, they'll hire companies. And then so they'll come up to you and be like, hey, you can get a blow dry, a haircut, a balayage, and blah, blah, blah for like immediately, like no building rapport whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
Or at the mall, how they're like, how they're handing you a sample and like shoving it in your face. Come on. I was like, how about we,
crazy.
Yeah. How about we be friends first? How about you ask me my name or, we strike up a conversation first. That's the icky version of the Starbucks run-in.
Okay. What if you're shy? Like you have to have a pretty outgoing personality.
True.
To be able to strike up conversations and be that engaging with somebody. And clearly.
Great question.
What if you're
Give
shy?
it to me.
What if you're
Give it to me.
What if this is like terrifying to you?
Oh, I'm sure it is for a lot of people who just saw what I acted out right now. So thank you for that question. If you're shy, there are limits. However, if you're shy, there's other ways you can get attention to your business, specifically digitally. I would have sick branding, an amazing funnel, giving value with a freebie like an ebook or a quiz, which lash style suits your face best or your eye shape best. Something like, did you know that the wrong lash style could make your eyes look smaller? Find out which lash style is better for you here. Here's the free quiz. And I would pay for ads. With a reputable ads company that knows what they're doing, we can help you run your ads, but you don't have to come to us, but somebody that will help you get more visible if you're shy. But it is your job to make sure you don't waste those leads that are messaging you every day saying like, oh, I've been looking for a lash artist. You need to talk to them. But typically, texting people or DMing people back is a lot easier for people.
Okay.
Another option is to hire someone extroverted to do your sales and give them a 5% commission. There's a lot of salespeople now who are commission based. It's very, very common. It's a simple search on Facebook groups typically.
So I'm going to circle back to this because in my mind, I'm hearing the financial objectives of like, I can't hire somebody. I don't have enough money. Okay.
Great.
So
love it.
Say that you have a certain amount set aside that you're planning on using towards education, product, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, I don't know, hypothetically, that amount is $5,000 that you're going to allow yourself to spend for the year.
Okay.
What would you take of that amount and say, forget whatever those things are and put it towards whether it's marketing or hiring or something, shifting from only education and product to how to grow your business?
So I actually have a freebie for that. It's called the Genius Flip. Here's the genius thing I did. Most beauty professionals will spend 90% of their time and resources and financial resources on the service itself. 90%. If they have, just for easy math, 10 hours a day, they're going to work 9 hours behind a chair doing lashes and only an hour of that on their marketing. If they have $1,000 for easy math, they're going to spend about $900 on beautifying their space and their supplies, doing the services, and only 10% on marketing and sales. The genius thing I did was I flipped that. I spend 10% on services and 90% on marketing and sales.
Really?
You don't get to $400,000 a month by focusing on just services. You have to be aggressive.
Wow.
Think about it.
I am thinking about it.
When your client is a no-show, it is not time for you to go to Target and buy pumpkin spice candles. That is an hour that you can spend on sales. getting another butt in your chair.
Wow. What? Oh, I mean, I could ask you so many questions.
Bring it on. I love it.
For the panel, what is like something you're really hoping, right, that you take away from participating in this, that like somebody's going to walk away and say, I'm really glad I went to that because what? What is your why for doing that?
Okay. The one nugget I want them to walk away with is this. If you don't sell, you won't have sales. A masterclass. If your sales are low, my question is, how many hours today did you spend selling? Or were you just waiting? If you don't sell, you won't have sales. Okay. My why I'm doing this?
Yes.
Why I do anything? When I came to the United States, I was 8 years old, but I came here from the Philippines. And I remember in the Philippines, I was like maybe like 5 or 6, and my parents would drive me to school and I'd be in the back seat without a seatbelt because it was the 80s. And I was wearing like a nice little school uniform, and I was going to St. Vincent Academy, it's like kindergarten. But every day, almost every day, there would be a poor Filipino kid in rags, no shoes, who would knock on my car window, look at me in the eye, this 5-year-old in the eye, and ask for food and do this. And I was 5. And I felt helpless. What can I do? I don't have anything. I can barely reach over the window. And I saw this all the time. And at 5 years old, I felt helpless. But at 35, I vowed to never feel helpless again. And my why is because I never want to be in that place of not being able to help.
I love that. Yeah. And there's inevitably 1 to 100 people that maybe are feeling a little piece of that for themselves. There seems to be a little bit of hopelessness right now with, tough times economically or in this space or just in the world, right? And that would be my goal, is that people walk away feeling the way I walked away feeling from you when we had our call of like, do I really want to do a panel about sales? And no, I don't want to do a panel about sales. I want to do a panel about discovering your why and recalibrating hope. That's the panel I want to do.
Well, I do think that the packaging, ultimately, if you talk about sales, you're going to get to the why. If you have good speakers, you're going to get to it. Because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. You need to get to the root of the issue. Why do you sell, guys? Like, why? Why do you want to sell? Let's handle that first. And then once you figure that out, you're more empowered to do the thing.
Do you think that people spend the time getting to understand the why of their client?
I think the most successful lash artists just do innately. Because people keep coming back because they've made a friend, and friends they care for you, genuinely care for you. Make a friend, help a friend.
Mahaf
is the way this guy's. I need to know this guy's name.
I wrote that in the kind of like the thing we did of the description of the class. It's like, what is that, and why do we need to care about that?
Just Mayhaf.
That's how you pronounce it?
I don't know. Tomato, potato. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't want to give everything away that we're going to talk about in the panel, but I am really looking forward to it.
Same
Thank
here.
you.
I just want to thank you, Keri, for your patience and also just for your genuine curiosity and for making me feel so special and important. Like my thoughts are important. And so I just thank you so much.
Thank you. And I appreciate your patience because it was me that asked you to do this live, which went awry. But again, it was exactly how it was supposed to work out. And I'm grateful that I got to meet you. And I really do feel like we're going to have like the best panel ever.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.